The gospel is that Jesus walked sin-free as a man. He was God, but set aside the privileges of God to be a faithful high priest to men as a man. People started really digesting that the gospel meant that the believer was raised back into the same life Jesus has, and that if Jesus walked sin-free as a man, they would have no excuse. In order to excuse themselves to live in sin, they had to get rid of Jesus' body. They had to get rid of his humanity, so they said he only seemed to have a body, or he left his body before the cross. This means there'd be no resurrection of that body. The faith alone crowd does not use those Gnostic words today, but it is the same demonic doctrine. They say Jesus was God and that is how he walked sin-free. The only problem with that is to deny the gospel that says he walked as a man. Hence 1 John 4, try the spirits, professing Christians. If they say Jesus came in the flesh, they are of God. If they don't, because they can't, if they want to justify sin, they are not of God. They say they are sheep and that no one can pluck them out of their Father's hand, not even themselves. Okay, but what about if you stop being his sheep? And we know his sheep hear his voice to get born again, but he says today if you hear his voice, harden not your hearts, which is a quote from Psalm 95, where he says immediately before this, get this, we are the sheep of his hand. And he swears they will not enter his rest, which is a type and shadow of eternal salvation, as proven by Hebrews 4:2, where it says the gospel was preached unto us. And don't tell me it is talking about just Hebrews who never came to, or who are tempted to leave Christ. He says in chapter 3, lest ye be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin, and in chapter 10, provoke others to good works, for if you sin willfully, after you have taken the knowledge of the truth, there remains no more sacrifice for sin. You are on dangerous ground. James 2, believing there is one God. Mark 12 has the same line. It means God the Father sent God the Son to save you through the gospel. One God. Once you accept it, it is part of the great command that you love God with all your heart, soul, and strength. Mark 12. And since God saved you through Jesus loving his neighbor, you, as himself, it made the second great command like the first, meaning it can't be separated from it. Matthew 22:39. This means it is all one. God's love for you and yours for him and yours for me is all one. James in the next chapter explains it further, saying salt water and fresh can't come out of the same well. If you claim to be loved and saved by God, but you are not loving me, you are a saltwater well. Faith without works truly is dead. Righteousness does not come by the law, but it does come. It comes by faith, actual righteousness, and you must walk in it. Romans 3. See my description for how the Holy Spirit wants to help you.